Joining me now, Newt Gingrich, former Speaker of the House, Fox News political analyst. Newt, everything we're seeing right now, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the ramp up to what we saw in 2020. I'm not talking about the death of African American at the hands of a cop, but that there's tensions are running high. Are you concerned that this could morph into something bigger and more dangerous?
Well, look, I think it's already big enough and dangerous enough. I'm reminded of then Governor Reagan dealing with the students at Berkeley, ultimately calling out the National Guard, taking control, insisting on law and order. I look at these university presidents who are cowards. The whole idea that Columbia can't guarantee safety, that the rabbi at Columbia urged Jewish students to go home because he thought it was physically dangerous. Yale has lost partial control. You go down the list. There are clear steps that can be taken. People who violate the rules can be expelled. People who are there who are not U.S. citizens can be deported. We do not want to run a risk of the gradual rise of essentially a Nazi-like anti-Jewish movement, and that's what it is. This is largely driven by anti-Semitism, and all across the country, it is Jewish Americans who are being faced with a level of discrimination. As one said to me yesterday, his grandparents came here seeking a country where they wouldn't face a pogrom in Russia, they wouldn't face the Holocaust in Germany, and now he's watching the signs start once again. And I think we have to be very tough and very direct that we are not going to tolerate this kind of anti-Semitism.
Yeah, it makes me more excited to go to a Seder tonight, which I'm doing, Newt, in part to be just in solidarity with our Jewish brothers and sisters. Newt, these solidarity zones, as they're calling them, are basically, they're basically just encampments that end up completely wrecking the experience at colleges and universities for kids that actually just want to go and learn. They didn't major in the protest culture. So those kids are just having their entire experience for now, it'll be weeks by the end of this, just destroyed. And they don't care.
But look, if you go back and you look at Reagan and how he handled Berkeley, and he had to because the people of California were so angry. It was their first real experience of this kind of student militancy. And the fact is, none of these encampments are legal. None of these encampments are authorized by the college or the university. All of them involve trespassing. All of them should be closed down tonight. People who insist on staying should be arrested. I mean, you know, this is not complicated. It's just hard. The fact is, these are people breaking the law and risking real threats to their Jewish fellow students.
Well, Newt, we've said this before, but it doesn't seem to get any traction, so let's say it again. Why is Congress continuing to fund these universities that allow this kind of it's like theft from one student group, harassment obviously, but theft from one student group to another student group, and yet our tax dollars are supporting research at these schools? Why?
Well, look, I have no problem with genuine research because they're among the best research centers in the world. But there's a ton of money that goes to a place like Harvard or Columbia or Yale. And more fundamentally, I think we have to have an accountability. And I want to come back. I noticed that Senators Hawley and Cotton today called on President Biden to call out the National Guard. I think that's essentially right. I think what you're seeing here, and these university presidents should be told flat out, if you're not going to insist on the rule of law, then we are going to come in and we're going to impose it. And that is what happened with Reagan. People think of Reagan as this nice, pleasant guy with Morning America. Yeah. He was very tough about this kind of law breaking.
Yeah. Biden will never do it, Newt, because Biden wants the youth vote. And he's worried about Michigan. He will never, ever call out the National Guard. OK, I don't ever believe that's going to happen. But if he listened to you, Newt, he would be a lot more popular. Great to see you, as always. All right, while America's distracted by the sham Trump trial, the border raging out of control, video that will shock you. Again, next.